Hello everybody and welcome back to Hypermine and a brand new series on my channel. These are the Hypermine Diaries, and once a week-ish I will be filling you guys in on what I've been up to on the server, which is currently mostly focused on my big epic build, the Happy Giant Trading Post, which you can just about make out in the distance over there. And the idea was, I was thinking about what I could build. I wanted something that was epic, and I wanted something that would be useful for the other members of the server. So what I figured on was a trading post, because I really like villager mechanics and I really like renewables. They're my favourite aspects of Minecraft. So I thought a nice trading post where members of the server can head on out. It's close to town but far enough away that it doesn't mess with the villagers inside the iron farm, and people can head on out here. They can go to the trading post, they can trade with the villagers, stop off and have a bite to eat, maybe on their way to the Guardian farm, and then and just have fun, do some trading and then head off on their way. And so that's what I've been working on the last few weeks while I've been live streaming, and let's go see what progress has been made using the tunnel to the Happy Giant Trading Post. So this is one of the first things that I built on my live stream, and this is a tunnel connecting Seacow Bay to the Happy Giant Trading Post. And I wanted a way to be able to travel between the two locations without a boat, because I'm not a huge fan of boats myself. But at the same time, I didn't want it to obstruct boat traffic for the other members of the server. This is quite a high traffic area for people heading from town to the Guardian farm and other features over there. There's also quite a few builds around here as well. There's the beach houses over there. There's Seacow Bay. There's a house up here, which is really, really a good design, actually. I had a wander around it not long ago. And Valentine's Base is over there. I don't have my render distance up high enough to see that. So it needed to not obstruct the waterway, and it also needed to not really impact on these designs at all, because it would have been right, if it had been a bridge, which was my original idea, it would have been smack bang in the middle of all these designs, and there wasn't really a way that I could think of that would incorporate them all. It would just look like someone had dropped a bridge in the middle, and it would have looked horrible. So I settled on an underwater tunnel, and I used leaves for the initial construction. I was going to completely glass it, but I used leaves for the initial construction just because they're easier to pick up and drop. You don't need to use silk touch tools. As it was, when the tunnel was finished, I decided that I actually really liked the leaves. I think they give it a good pattern, a good design. So instead of glassing the whole thing, I've only glassed the odd section here and there so that you can look out and watch the squiddies. There's one, hello! And that proved to be a bit of a blessing in disguise, actually, because just glassing these few bits of a tunnel that was already underwater, hilarity and chaos ensued. I flooded this thing so many times. I don't know how I managed to get away without drowning at least once. And you're probably wondering now, okay, Jan, what's with the minecarts? There's no rail, you've just got all these minecarts set up and they're not doing anything. Well, this is right-click spam travel. And the idea is you get into the first minecart and then you right-click and you right-click and you right-click along, like so. And what I like about it is it's quite quick. I don't know if it's as fast as a minecart going along a rail, but it's pretty close. You can change direction at the drop of a hat, and you could in theory have multiple tunnels heading off, and then you could get to them and say, actually I want to go this way or that way, and there's no redstone involved, which is great because I can't redstone to save my life. I can barely open a door with redstone. So this suits me down to the ground, this right-click spam travel, and it will now be my default travel whenever I'm building things to travel. So here we are back at the tower, and this was originally going to be the first of many buildings on this plains biome here. And the idea was that the trading post was going to be here, it was going to spread back into those hills there, and it was going to have a sort of village-esque design. I was going to use a lot of the original blueprints which exist for naturally spawned villages. It was going to have, you know, your church, blacksmith's hut, libraries, and I was going to give it a real city feel. And you can see that I've sort of incorporated some of the villager architecture into the tower, the idea of the wood and cobblestone being used as the materials. The windows are actually fences instead of glass because I wanted to create the effect of a castle window which is being used in the defence of the village. So archers would look through those slots and release their arrows at oncoming enemies. However, there was a change in that plan, because as well as having the trading post up here, I had also planned to have my base down here. And you can see I've set up my storage, and I've anthropomorphized them somewhat. And this was completely by accident because I wanted, this was going to be my, well, it still is, my ender pearl chest. So I marked it accordingly and then realised that it made it look like eyes and a mouth. So I did that with all my chests, not just the ender pearls chest. But as well as having my storage up here, I was going to have a strip mine down there. And that is when I discovered something very exciting. And what I discovered was this. A zombie dungeon. Found while I was strip mining. I found a cave, I explored the cave, and I found a zombie dungeon, which is brilliant because it makes finding villagers for the trading post so much easier, because instead of sitting there and waiting however long it takes for a zombie villager to spawn on the surface, I now just switch this on. It's currently off. The zombies spawn in here. I either kill them and use the hoppers to collect up their drops, or if in the case of a zombie villager, I guide them into this quarantine area where they are cured, encouraged into a minecart, again, chaos and hilarity, and then once they're in the minecart, they are sent on their merry way to a new location, because the problem with the zombie spawner is that it's about 30 blocks underground. And while I probably could have come up with a way of getting the villagers which it generated to the surface, again, I can't redstone to save my life, so instead we have changed the location of the Happy Giant trading post because it is now here. And the first villager to come out of the zombie spawner was Lakeisha, the cleric, and she is the owner of the magical enchantments shop. So people can come here, they can do some enchanting, have a chat with Lakeisha, do some trading. I do believe that one of her trades that she offers is lapis, if you find yourself short at the table. And the second villager to come out is Phil the fisherman. And he's currently in here because we haven't finished his house yet. For each of the villagers, I want them to have a sort of themed shop. So we've got Lakeisha's shop there. And for Phil, my stream suggested that I do an igloo with a fishing hole in it. So that's what we're going to build, and we're building it in this tunnel down here, which is currently being excavated, and that's going to be Phil's little house, and it's an interesting building challenge actually, because you never quite know what villager you're going to get next. So when I finish building for Phil, we'll get another villager out of the zombie spawner and send them on their merry way down the track to their new life at the trading post. And that could be a librarian, it could be a farmer, it could be another cleric. We just don't know. We won't know until they arrive. So it's a nice building challenge to get the villager, get them here, and then sit there and think, right, what themed build could I do for you? And that's pretty much what I'm doing, and that's what I'm going to be doing for the next few weeks. The presence of Lakeisha and Phil the Fisherman does mean that the trading post is officially open for business, so members of the server are more than welcome to come on down here and do some trading. I only ask that when you are finished, if you could please replace this wall here, just because I'm paranoid about things spawning and coming down and eating Phil. I mean, once this is all set up and everyone's behind their doors and happy, then I'll get rid of this wall. But for now, Phil is there, and I'd rather he didn't get eaten before I've built his house. So, otherwise, yeah, the Happy Giant trading post is open for business, and that's what I'm going to be working on for the next few... It's probably going to take me months, actually. There's how many villagers are there? 12, 1.9 is probably going to add more, and that's assuming we get one of each villager out of the thing. I'll probably wind up with 10 farmers, 5 clerics, and 2 librarians, and 1 fisherman. And I think this is going to be epic. I think this is going to look awesome. And I'm really excited about it, and I hope you are too. So, without further ado, I'm going to sign off there because the server's about to reset. I hope you have enjoyed this first episode of my Hypermine Diaries. Don't forget to check out my stream, 6 o'clock weekdays, British time, on twitch.tv/JanDoncom. And I will see you there. Bye!